We're continuing quarter 4. Theme is living simple, live simple. That's what we're continuing today. So if you're here for the first time, and I met a number of you here for the first time, thanks Malachi, man, for introducing yourself from Chicago, South Side. Thanks for that, man. All right, so thanks for that. Here's how we kind of roll during the sermon time. So we have an app or a website, and guided notes are available there. So St. Paul, Peoria, guided notes are available there. Some people have a hard copy book, but the notes are available in the app or the website. We're in week 3. I start to do from the 5th floor. We're in week 3. All right, so we're in week 3, and we're looking at decluttering our minds today in this whole piece of living simple. So we're going to be in Luke chapter 12 again. So for the rest of this month, if you want to just leave something in Luke chapter 12, that's where we're going to be. Luke chapter 12. And to set up, just to get us thinking about it, I'm going to challenge us starting next week to begin the process of decluttering, to begin the process of thinking about how much is enough for you, not for anybody else, for you. How much is enough? What does that mean for you? And thinking about what currently you have that's extra. And actually going through a process whereby you take extra and then say, God, who can I bless with this extra? So I started the process, and you'll hear it a little bit in the introduction, decluttering a corner of my closet. So I want to be truthful. It was just a corner. Don't judge me. It was just a corner, and from just a corner, I had 2 bags to give away. Don't judge me. It was just a corner, right? Because I was pulling out extra larges. I'm like, I don't want to go back to extra large. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to extra large. So I'm pulling them out, right? And then thinking through who can I bless with this? I'm going to have to get to my garage. There are things we have in our garage. If there's any college student who needs a refrigerator, I know I have one. I think we may have 2. So just hit me up after service. If you're a college student, you need a refrigerator, a little short, dorm room refrigerator, hit me up. I got that. So just looking through my garage and saying, okay, what are the things that I have that I'm not using? And these are things, like if it's been in a box for more than 6 months, a year, 2 years, if it's in that other closet and you don't even remember what's there, it might be a candidate, right? Right? So again, just praying about and then going through and thinking about, some people may have appliances that they work and you had intentions to use them, but you just haven't. Somebody could use it. May have furniture that's been in storage, not at your house, but somewhere else, for a year. You intend to use it one day, someday, but it's been there for a year. Just something to pray about. Say, God, could I bless somebody with this? So we're going to guide you through a process just to think about that. And I can tell some of you are traumatized already. Like, I do not like this series, right? Right? So I'll end with this. My wife, because those of you who know me know the majority of the time I wear black. Majority of the time I wear black. And Christy said to me, she's like, okay, I just want to know, how many pairs of black pants do you need? It's 7 days in a week. How many pairs? Like, babe, look at these. She's like, yeah, they look just like all the other black pair of pants you have in your closet. So we'll walk through that, talk through that. Is that good? Okay, so I want to try to teach today a little bit, and let's start in that space. Have you ever noticed that clutter doesn't just happen all at once. As I think about my closet, I didn't plan on it. It was just one item at a time. And instead of folding it and stacking it properly, paying attention to it, I would kind of fold it and throw it. And because it was in my closet and the door could be shut, I figured, what's the big deal? And then after doing that over a period of time, right, what started off as a small thing now becomes a whole bunch of things. And what was not the norm all of a sudden became the norm. So I would know I could only open up my closet so far, and then I got to step over. But it had become the norm that I was just going to step over instead of going through and sorting and organizing and then deciding, what am I going to get rid of? For many of us, clutter just happens over time to the point where it just feels normal. We stop noticing it, we step over it, we live around it. What once would have been unthinkable to us has now become the normal behavior for us. So maybe you don't have a closet that's stuffed with stuff. Maybe it's a drawer. Tell somebody, stop judging me, stop judging me, right? Maybe it's a drawer, or maybe it's your desk, or it could be something else that just because over time we lost focus, we've embraced clutter as normative. But when we think about it, clutter doesn't just happen in rooms or in spaces. If we're not careful, clutter can happen in our lives. And clutter can happen in our minds. We unknowingly collect worries and fears and lies and distractions. And before long, our cluttered mind becomes normal. That cluttered mind that's divided, that's filled with competing beliefs and worries and ideas and even other voices. It's busy there. We keep thinking, planning, fearing, and fixing, but there's no peace there. We want to talk today about decluttering. And as we talk about it, when we think about decluttering, to declutter for us really is to make space for truth again in our minds. It's removing the lies in our minds that have settled in and taken up space and hindered us from being able to embrace God's peace. As we look at Luke chapter 12, I think this really is at the heart of what Jesus is getting at when he talks to them about stop worrying. Any worriers in the house? He's inviting them to clear the clutter of false beliefs that keep them anxious. And I believe he's saying before your life can be free of worry, your mind must be free of lies. Before your life can be free of worry, your mind must be free of lies. So here is the big idea, revised big idea, major concept I want to talk about using Luke chapter 12, and we're just going to walk through it. And I just want you to think about it through this lens. Here it is. Belief shapes our mindset. Mindset fuels our behavior. And together, they tell the story we trust. Hear it again. Belief, the truth we hold on to, shapes our mindset. Our mindset is the lens we use to view the world and people. And those two shape, influence the stories we tell ourselves, and they show up in our behavior, the way we live. So as we walk through today, let's take a moment. Notice, if you will, if you have your Bibles open, hopefully you're in Luke chapter 12. Luke chapter 12, so far, Jesus has been talking to the crowd. Someone from the crowd raised an issue, and Jesus addressed that issue. And then last week, you heard him tell a story based on the issue he addressed and where he landed. But as we get to verse 22 of Luke chapter 12, he shifts his focus from the crowd to his disciples. Those who have committed to follow him, those who say, I want to live the way you live, I want to think the way you think, I want to operate the way you operate. He's turned his focus to the disciples. So he's speaking to the disciples, and in speaking to the disciples, please know, these disciples are, for the most part, day laborers who live from hand to mouth. They're not wealthy people. They understand what it feels like to have an uncertain tomorrow, to not know if they're going to be able to eat tomorrow. So when he says, don't worry about your life, Jesus is not scolding them. He's very sensitive to what's going on in their lives. He's actually trying to offer comfort to them and to us. He's not ignoring their needs. He's actually trying to affirm a basic truth that the Father already knows about their needs. And for many of us, maybe it's important for us to review before we look at the lies that the Father already knows about our needs. He knows that many of us, because of what's going on in our society and our economy, are struggling to try to make ends meet, to try to make financial adjustments. Groceries cost more. Thank God gas went down for a minute, right? Jobs feel insecure. We don't know if we go in one day, if they're going to tell us we don't have a job. We don't know what's going on. Our future at times feels fragile. We can't hold on to it, don't know what it's going to be like. Jesus isn't asking us to ignore reality. So please hear that. He's asking us to trust that the Father's care is greater than our reality. His words are not stop feeling. His words to them are start remembering. So let's take some time and walk through this lesson where Jesus begins, don't worry about your life. The word he used there for life is the word where we get our word psychology from. It's or psyche, and then we get our word psychology from. It's really looking at that idea of the self or the soul or the inner life. He says, don't worry about what you're going to eat or what you're going to wear. And when he says that, he's really getting at this basic idea. Don't let the pressure to survive shrink your soul. In other words, don't trade your inner life for external control. Because worry not only drains your energy, it distorts our sense of identity. And we're going to get to that. So Jesus starts where worry starts, with what we believe. Because every anxious thought has a belief behind it. Hear that. Many of us wrestle with some form of worry, some form of anxiety. So hear this. Every anxious thought has a belief behind it. And remember the thesis? Every belief forms a mindset, and every mindset fuels a behavior. So what I believe shapes my mindset, how I look at things, and then that's going to inform my behavior, how I live. So here's what I want to talk about, and I want to try to go slow and wrestle a bit. I want to share what I believe in this passage are 5 lies that we see in the verses that we're going to look at, verses 22 through 31, and the truths that accompany them. 5 lies and the truth. So beginning at verse 22, are you ready? Are you ready? All right, let me see. Okay, thank you, Tracor. All right, so let's read that together. It's on the screen. 1, 2, 3. Stop right there. Okay. Here's the first lie I think we need to confront. And what I want to ask you to do as we work through them is to raise the question, God, do I struggle with that? Do I struggle with that? So here's the first lie. The first lie I think we have to contend with is the lie that life is just about surviving. It's just about surviving. Don't worry about your life. Life is more than food, and body more than clothes. Consider this lie, that my worth depends on me being able to secure stuff. The quality of my life, the sense of my life depends on me being able to secure stuff. As a result, it shapes my mindset, right? If I believe that life is about me securing stuff, then I gotta strive for it. I gotta run after it. And I'm fearful that I might not get it. And the behavior that shows up is often a hustle mindset, a productivity without a sense of purpose. But I'm busy, but it has no sense of purpose. Here's the truth that I think Jesus wants to get at. That life is more than survival. Life is about your significance. Please hear this. Life, the essence of life, is that you are significant in the eyesight of God. If you get stuff, verse 21, if you get a whole bunch of stuff, but you're not rich towards God, you're still poor. I know, it's a subtlety, right? That I can get a whole bunch of stuff and not have a relationship with God, a richness in my relationship with God. And the lie is that I just need to survive, but the truth is that I am significant in the eyesight of God. Heard Sister Gia this morning in class. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am made in the image and the likeness of God. I have significance in the eyesight of God. And what God desires more than anything is for me to prioritize a relationship with Him, because heaven and earth will pass away. I won't be able to pack up a U-Haul to take all this stuff with me. But one thing is for sure, in eternity, it will be me and God. So it's wrestling with, where do I allow this kind of survival mentality to dominate my thinking in such a way that it has me frantic and worrying, because I believe that my worth comes from food and clothes. Please hear that Jesus doesn't forbid work. He forbids living as though work is life. So is that an area of struggle? Where in your practical behavior, not in your stated behavior, you're chasing food and clothes, but not chasing God. Just something to chew on. Here's the second one I'll mention. Verse 24, I love this. Consider, some translations say the ravens. Some just say the birds. They don't sow or reap. They don't have a storeroom or a barn, yet God feeds them. Aren't you worth much more than the birds? Consider the ravens. Here's the lie I think we have to wrestle with, right? A belief that we hold to be true that we have to wrestle with. Here's the belief, the lie. I'm on my own. I'm on my own. If I don't get it done, who gonna get it done? I'm on my own. I gotta make it happen. I'm on my own. The lie is that I've been abandoned, and because I've been abandoned and I need to overwork, and because I've been abandoned and it's all on me, I have an orphan spirit. Because I've been abandoned, I'm on my own, right? But hear the truth. Consider the ravens. They don't have storehouses. They don't have bank accounts. They don't have They don't get a bi-weekly check, a weekly check, none of that. They don't get none of that. And yet they actually go looking for food. Why would you go looking for food? Because they have an innate belief that the God who created them is going to make sure that food is available. So here's the lie. The lie is that I've been abandoned. Here is the truth, that I have a Father who provides. I know it's hard. When we operate with an orphan mentality that is all on me, that becomes pressure, which causes me to worry. Because like it's all on me. But when I understand that I am not an orphan, but I've been adopted into the family of God, so I get to call him Abba Father, and my Heavenly Father cares for me. He knows what I have need of. So it's not all on me. I was thinking about this morning as I was thinking about this whole concept of father. And I was like, man, I'm going to have to talk to my kids, right? But I wonder, I'm going to raise the question when I get a chance to talk to them, like, hey, when you guys were little, like, I know I didn't invite you in to say, okay, I need to go. You think we need to go to the grocery store? You think we need to pay these bills? I didn't invite you in. I didn't talk to you about it. As your father, I went to the grocery store when I saw wasn't no groceries. As your father, I tried to make sure to the best of my ability that I paid the bill. So when you flicked the switch, the light was on, right? When you turned on the faucet, that some water actually came out. As a father dealing with the children didn't have to think about it. They didn't have to ponder it. They just operated with like, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to open up the fridge and it's going to be food there, right? And I'm going to eat it up and I'm not even going to think about how is more food going to get in there. I'm going to just do it again. I'm going to go back to that refrigerator. I'm going to open it up. I'll be like, it's just going to be food there, right? There was this confidence that my Father knows and will provide. See, so it's a mindset that says, no, I'm not abandoned. I'm not forgotten. No, I have a Father who provides. Now, please hear, because I know, sometimes may have skeptics, right, and thinking about, oh, so you're saying we just don't need to work because God going to provide. Okay, no, I'm saying trusting God's provision doesn't cancel participation. It reframes it as partnership. I know. See, it's not me just saying, okay, God, make it happen. God, make it happen. No, it's saying, God, you gave me stuff, put stuff in me for me to be able to do, and I'm going to do what I can do, but here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to try to be you. So I'm going to do what I can do. I'm going to do my part, but then I'm going to trust that only you can do your part. So once I've come to the end of my part, I'm going to trust that, God, you know I did everything that I could do. It's on you, my daddy. You're responsible for me. That's what you said, so I'm going to trust you to that. So it's this whole idea of partnership and participation in the sense of how we view God. How you doing in that space? Do you function from week to week like it's all on me? Or do you function from week to week like I'm in partnership with God? I'm participating. I'm doing my part, and then I'm trusting God to do his part. Here's the third lie, I think. It's a lie of control. Jesus asked point blank, so I'm going to ask you, can you, by worrying, add any time to your life? I'm just asking. I'm asking you. Jesus asked them, his disciples, I'm asking you. Can you, by worrying, add extra minutes on the clock? Can you add an extra hour because you are worrying, right? It's this whole notion, this lie of control. The lie of control is that I need to figure it out. And because I need to figure it out, ain't no sense in me going to sleep. I don't have time to sleep. I got to stay awake because I got to figure this thing out. I need to stay awake. I need to figure it out because, again, it's all on me. So I got to work it out. I got to be in control because if I'm not in control, I don't know who in control. It's just me. So I got to be in control because I can't trust the fact that God is in control. Y'all getting quiet. Online, they quiet. Does that mean that it's speaking to us? Okay, all right. I'm glad it's just not me. All right. So it's this whole illusion of control. We worry because we have this illusion of control that we can fix it. So we obsess over what do I need to do. We don't sleep because we're like, I got to get it done. We fear failure and what's going to happen. Here's what happens. Control feels comforting until it starts to crush you. This illusion of me being in control is comforting until it begins to crush me. I mean, and you can expand it, right? Trying to be in control of people's lives, trying to be in control of other people's behaviors, trying to be in control of other people's thoughts. All of that can crush me until I accept the fact I am not in control. So the lie is that of control. Here's the truth that I think Jesus wants to teach us. Surrender. I know y'all responded like, All right, here, surrender. It's this idea, God, you're in control, so I want to act responsibly and rest in you. So, God, because you're in control, I want to do everything I can to make wise decisions. And after I've done everything I can to make wise decisions, I realize, God, that now I have to surrender. So, God, I can do my part with the input, but I have no control over the outcome. So I surrender. Come on, because we quote this stuff. We believe it, right? All things work together for good to them that love God and are called according to his purpose. We quote these things, right? So I surrender, God, knowing that once I've done the input, I surrender. However you allow it to work out, God, I trust that you are ultimately in control. So I surrender to you being in control. That's personally, that's as a country. We surrender to the fact that you are not surprised by what's happening in our country today. So I don't have to lose my mind because I can't fix none of it. There is a God who sits high and looks low. There is a God who is above every ruler and leader. So I don't have to flip out. Why, God? Because you are in control. So here's what I do. I surrender, God. I surrender, God. I surrender, God, to your purposes and your plans. I surrender. So I'm going to go to sleep because you neither slumber nor sleep. So there's no sense in both of us staying up. Right? So since you neither slumber nor sleep, I'm going to go ahead and as Pastor Copeland said, I'm going to lay my fat head down, right? I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to trust, hey, God, you up. You know how this thing going to work out. So I'm going to just surrender. I'm going to talk to you about it. And then I'm going to just let it go. I'm going to release it to you, God. And then I'm going to just trust, God, that you got everything under control. But get it. If I don't surrender, I will work to seize control. And that causes me to be anxious. Because I constantly reminded, I'm not in control. So surrendering isn't quitting. It's trusting that God is already handling what I can't. Or said differently, it's trying to stop carrying what only God can carry. So here's the fourth lie. This one is major. It's the lie of scarcity. Verse 27, consider the lilies of the field. Some translations say wildflowers. They don't labor or spin thread, yet not even Solomon in all of his splendor was adorned like one of these. If that's how God clothes the grass, which is in the field today and is thrown into the furnace tomorrow, how much more will he do for you? And then he throws it in, you of little faith. Wait. This scarcity mindset can govern our behavior in such a way that it causes us to be anxious. What do you mean by a scarcity mindset? A scarcity mindset says there isn't enough. There isn't enough. And because there isn't enough, I got to make sure I get mine because there isn't enough. Somehow it's going to run out. So I got to make sure I get mine. I got to secure mine, right? And here's how it influenced my mindset, right? It creates FOMO, that whole fear of missing out. So I got to get mine, and it breeds envy, right? So because there isn't enough, I'm mad when you got yours because I feel like you getting yours take away from me getting mine. So if God blessed you, I'm mad about it because I don't think God got enough to bless you and be able to bless me. I mean, who does that, right? So I have this scarcity mindset. So now I'm envious, I'm jealous, right, of you. So I can't rejoice over things that are happening in your life. I can't rejoice with those who rejoice, right? And then I become greedy because I don't think there's enough. Then when I get something, I got to hold on to it, right, because it's not enough. So I got to hold on to it. That's how it plays in my mindset and my behavior. It's constant accumulation because there's not enough. So I need to make sure that I got it because there's only so many and they're going to run out sooner or later. That's exhausting, right? So what Jesus is trying to get at is the scarcity mindset. So what's the truth? That the God we serve is a God of abundance. Okay. So Sister Jacobs, they didn't think that was significant. They were just like, yeah. Oh, okay. So can we just walk through what he said? Let me just try to show you what he said. Listen what he says. He says, consider the lilies of the field. He says, they don't do much. And yet, in all of their beauty, even Solomon, who was the richest man to ever live, nothing that he had or put on compares to them in all of their beauty. You hear it? Okay. So, but keep reading. He says, if God will do this for grass that's here today and gone tomorrow, how much more? It's all right. It took me a minute. Wait, what do you, okay. So think about something you treasure. Something you treasure. Get it in your mind. Something you treasure. It could be clothing, it could be jewelry, right? Whatever it is. Think about something you treasure, okay? Now, that thing you treasure, here's what you're going to do. You're going to give that thing you treasure to somebody, and you know it's only going to exist with them for the next 24 hours, and it's gone. Some of y'all like, I am not giving. Right? Because the thought is, if I treasure it, why would I give it knowing that in 24 hours, it will no longer exist? I'm going to hold on to it. Not when you got abundance. I know it's hard, right? Listen to what he's saying. God is so abundant in his blessings that he could put splendor and beauty on flowers that are here today and gone tomorrow because it doesn't take anything away from what he still has. He could do it all over again, knowing that it'll only last for 24 hours and keep on doing that throughout eternity. Why? Because God has an abundance. See, when I operate with a scarcity mindset, I am not believing that the God that I serve owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. The earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world, and they that dwell therein. God has so much. God blessing you doesn't take away from him blessing somebody else. God got so much, he can bless everybody in this room, everybody in this world, and we haven't even touched anything as far as the resources of God. It's understanding that the God we serve is a God of abundance. And when we understand that the God we serve is a God of abundance, then our mindset becomes one of gratitude and contentment. It's like, oh, God, thank you for bestowing whatever you've bestowed upon me. I want to be grateful for it, right? Because I realize you didn't have to do it, so I want to be grateful. I want to appreciate it. Oh, God, and I am content. God, if you thought enough of me to bless me with this, then I want to say, man, this is great, God. It is well with my soul because you gave me whatever you gave me, God, because you are a God of abundance. And God, if I need something else, because your pockets are never empty, I realize, God, that you'll supply what I need the next time. My God shall supply all my needs according to his riches in glory. That's the stuff we read. So I move different when I realize that God is a God of abundance versus when I have a scarcity mindset. Okay, so here's my last one, lest I hold you too long. The last lie is a lie of frenzy, mental agitation. Listen to what he says, beginning at verse 29. Don't keep striving for what you should eat and what you should drink, and don't be anxious. For the Gentile world eagerly seeks all these things, and your Father knows that you need them. But seek his kingdom, and these things will be provided for you. The lie of frenzy is I got to chase, 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 I got to chase. I'm tired just saying I got to chase. Right? So imagine when you live your life that way. I got to chase, I got to chase. That's why so many of us are tired. Because we're like, I got to chase, 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 I got to chase. Woo! And that's why so many of us don't have joy. Because I got to chase, I got to chase, I got to chase. And I'm mad as heck. I want to make sure I said the right word. I'm mad as heck. I got to chase, I got to chase, I got to chase, I got to chase, I got to chase. So when you interact with me, even though I sing the songs of the Lord, I don't have joy. Because I'm mad as heck. I got to chase, I got to chase, I got to chase. How you doing? I'm blessed and highly favored of the Lord. Right? I'm not operating in joy. I don't have any peace. Why? Because I'm on this treadmill. I got to chase, I got to chase, I got to chase, I got to chase, I got to chase. And I'm constantly on that treadmill. So not only am I miserable, but everybody around me is miserable. And here's the truth. The truth is instead of frenzy, get focus. What do you mean by focus? Here's the focus. My Father already knows what I need. I know. It's cool. I'm going to walk with you. So, focus does not mean I stop caring. It means I start ordering my cares. I'm in the text. I know you don't believe me. I'm in the passage here. It doesn't mean I don't stop caring. It means I prioritize ordering my cares so that they're in the proper order. What do you mean by the proper order? He says, verse 30, the Gentiles seek these things. That's what he says. Verse 31, seek the kingdom of God, and these things will be added. I know. You didn't hear it. Hear the order. The Gentiles seek these things. That's their order. People who don't know God, don't have a relationship with God. These things come after their seeking. But verse 31, hear the order. Seek the kingdom of God, and these things will be added. I know, it's coming. You get the order? Here's what caused me to be in a frenzy. When I make my priority these things, I'm agitated, I'm irritated. I don't have any kind of joy or any kind of peace because I got things out of order. I'm pursuing these things. But when I seek the kingdom, I seek the kingdom trusting that these things, they come with the package. These things are all included in the kingdom. So the reordering is, God help me to keep putting the kingdom first, because when I put the kingdom first, I can trust that these things is always included. When I pursue these things, I don't have nothing on the other side of it. It's about focus. So can I ask? Sometimes I talk to people and I get it. They're like, Pastor, I'm just out here hustling. Cool. Hustle. Where's God in that? I'm not saying you can't hustle. I'm just saying, is God after your hustle or before your hustle? Because the order matters. Okay, I was sitting and I read this morning. It just came up. This just came up this morning in the reading. Psalm 120. Yep. 127 verse 1, New Living Translation. Unless the Lord builds a house, the work of the builder is wasted. Unless the Lord protects a city, guarding it with sentries will do no good. It is useless for you to work so hard from early morning until late at night, anxiously working for food to eat, for God gives rest to his loved ones. Here's all I'm trying to say, is that the order matters. And what Jesus is trying to teach his disciples, that includes us, is when we get the order out of order, there's a consequence. It influences our mindset, which then influences our behavior. So it's possible when we lock into contentment with what God has provided and gratitude for what God has provided, it's possible to actually have God and less stuff and have more joy. Some of y'all like, that's why I don't go to church. Y'all be preaching that poverty stuff. God is not against you having more stuff. He's against you placing your hope and your trust and your confidence in the stuff. And if you can't be trusted with the little stuff you got, why would God give you more stuff? Online, they gave me this. I thought it was kind of funny. Here's what happens when we declutter our minds. Decluttering not only impacts us individually, it helps us individually. When we remove the lies, replace them with the truth of God, it changes our mindset, which then changes our behavior. It not only helps us individually, but then it helps us collectively. Because when I remove the lies and I embrace the truth, now that I'm operating in a place of clarity and embracing simplicity for the glory of God, I can lean into generosity because I realize my God has an abundance. So I ain't got to hold on to what I have as though God can't give more. I can release it. Why? Because I realize you can't beat God given. Scripture does say it's more blessed to give. Some of y'all read it. Right? So when I embrace that and understand that, it changes the game. I'm done. Here's all I'm trying to say. What Jesus is communicating to us is, and the disciples, is that he models for us what it's like to become poor to help other people become rich. As Scripture says, Jesus, 2 Corinthians chapter 8, became poor that we might become rich. He left glory to come down, to walk on earth, to lay down his life so that we might enter into relationship with the Father, to cause us to be rich in relationship with the Father. So God has blessed us. So please hear this. The same God who provides salvation will not fail to provide substance. So here's all I've tried to say, is before our lives can become decluttered of worry, our minds must become decluttered of lies. So what are the lies we've been believing? Because belief shapes our mindset. Our mindset fuels our behavior. And together they tell the story we trust.